The room holds heat again. Not much, but enough to stay. I sit beside the quiet flame and watch the shadows sway. My hands feel closer to myself than they did before. The cold that followed me inside waits at the door. Nothing speaks inside this space. No thought asks to be heard. The comfort comes without a sound or word. This is a fire without words. No story left to tell. Just warmth returning quietly where silence fell. It doesn't rush or ask for more. It doesn't try to prove. It simply stays and lights the dark. This fire without words. Remember other nights that felt the same as this, where time slowed down to something real. I didn't miss. I've known the kind of heat that burns a trace. This feels like something meant to keep. Its place. I don't explain the way it comes or ask how long it stays. Moment warm my chest and wait. This is a fire without words. No vow, no tell you it has come. It shows up small and asks for time and none. It feels like being able to rest without a guard, and trusting something gentle lies inside the dark. This is a fire without words. I don't ask it to grow. I let it be exactly this and glow. The night stays wide, the past stays still. No truth to prove. I sit beside the quiet flame. This fire without words. Soft light through the curtains, barely holding on. Curtain thoughts between us, quiet as a song. Your gaze drifts to distance. Time we're safe and clean. Risk is for the reckless, or so it always seems. I trace the outline of your hesitation, every word measured for insulation. You built a soundproof heart of every hesitation, and still I spoke so loud. You built a soundproof heart, silenced the hidden language, still I stayed somehow. We talked about future, safely theoretical. Affection kept at surface, never quite symmetrical. Your touch was always steady, just never intimate. Warmth so calculated, something to imitate. Hard truths wrapped up in understatement. Soft lies drafted for containment. You built a soundproof heart, decked with hesitation, and still I spoke so loud. You built a soundproof heart, silenced the hidden language, still I stayed somehow. Sometimes emotion looks like kindness, sometimes avoidance looks like care. whispered through the paddy, and I shouted through the phone. But love cannot be transmitted through foundations made of stone. You built a sound, nothing passed through the center, nothing dared to enter that fortress in your chest. Now I watch the aftermath, quiet revelation. Peace arrives so softly, without confrontation. History becomes a soft dimension. Distance turns to clarity, finally leaving its mark. You built a soundproof heart, where connection stayed unbroken. You built a soundproof heart, treating static as original. Sometimes absence is the answer, sometimes distance is the truth, and nothing left to measure but the quiet in the room. The cabin stands the way it did against the fallen white. Wood remembers every storm and every quiet night. Cold air settles in my lungs, sharp, honest, clean. Each breath feels like a moment in between. I came here with a heavy heart and nowhere left to go. The world is slowed to flakes of light and snow. Let the snow fall gently down, cover what I cannot say. Let it touch the ground I stand on, and carry some of this away. I don't fight the tears tonight, I let the cold decide. Let the snow wash through my chest and soften what's inside. No footsteps passing by. The sky keeps lowering itself until it meets my eyes. I've held this ache for far too long, like heat beneath my skin. The winter asks for nothing now, it just comes in. Each flake arrives without a past or reason to remain. It falls, it rests, it disappears again. Let the snow fall gently down across this open ground. It doesn't question where I've been or mark another sound. I stand here letting time move slow until the sorrow shifts. Not gone but lighter than before. be strong. It teaches pain a quieter way to carry on. It shows me how to stay with hurt without becoming stone. How to feel the weight of love and still go on alone. Let the snow fall gently down. I'm standing where I am. I don't need the hurt to end to feel I still can stand. I watch the white erase the dark, not fast, not overnight. The sorrow fades a shade at once in falling light. I used to move before I felt afraid of what might rise. I filled the space with motion first and left no room inside. Now I let the moment land without a reason why. I stay long enough to notice what's alive. No urgency to step ahead or frame it as a sign. I give my body time to speak in its own time. I'm slow enough to feel what the quiet holds. Every breath arrives complete when I let it unfold. I don't rush the rising truth or force it to reveal. I stay right here and listen close, slow enough to feel. Your presence doesn't crowd the room, it settles in my chest. You stay without a single pull and let me rest. I've known affection shaped like speed that never stayed around. This feels like standing barefoot on solid ground. I don't divide the moment up or ask it to explain. I let the feeling move through me and remain. I'm slow enough to feel without defense or shield. Not everything demands a name to make it real. I don't outrun the tenderness or act like it's unreal. I hold the pace that lets me stay slow enough to feel. presence isn't something found at some imagined end. It's what appears when motion stops and nerves unbend. It's letting sensation finish first before the mind decides, and trusting what the body knows is wise. I'm slow enough to feel, and that is how I know the calm I carry isn't fragile or borrowed. I don't prepare to move away or brace against what's real. I live inside this measured pace, slow enough to feel. Used to trace every silence, looking for where it went wrong, turning moments into puzzles, trying to keep us strong. Every pause felt temporary, every doubt needed a name. I believe the right question could still make us the same. I watched your eyes drift elsewhere while I stayed in the frame, waiting for reassurance that never came. There was a questions fell quiet inside, not because I had answers, but because they no longer apply. I stopped asking for reasons, stopped waiting for signs. That was the moment I realized some truths don't reply. I practice patience like language, hoping you'd finally speak. I kept holding the doorway while you slipped past me. You weren't cruel or careless, just absent in small ways, and small ways added up across too many days. I felt the shift before I knew it, like a room losing sound. Everything stayed the same, but nothing reached me now. There was a moment I noticed the effort slipped from my hands, not out of anger or distance, just a quiet understanding. I stopped asking for clarity, stop begging time was already mine. It wasn't one last argument or something left unsaid. It was the weight of every question that lived inside my head. You can only ask forever if hope keeps answering back. When it stops returning, you stop asking that. Didn't scare me. It finally felt like truth I know. I didn't need a reason or a better goodbye. I stopped asking the questions and started hearing my life. Some answers arrive when the questions end. Between chapters, neither of us meant to stay. You were looking past the moment, I was just passing your way. Our timing leaned the wrong direction, like two trains sharing a view, close enough to feel the movement, but never riding through. We spoke like we had forever, while borrowing borrowed time. Every word felt weighted for something so undefined. We were loved in passing, like a glance you feel all day, here and gone too quickly, still never fades away. Not a promise, not a future, just a truth we couldn't hold. We were loved in passing, and it marked us both. Your hand brushed mine by accident, still felt like a decision. 1 second carried meaning that outlived our condition. We never built a story, still the feeling stayed. Some connections don't need pages to leave a trace. You talked about where life was heading, I talked about where I'd been. We stood inside the overlap, knowing how thin it was then. We were loved in passing, never meant to collide. Two lives slightly open at the wrong point in time. Not enough room to grow roots, not enough space to run. We were loved in passing, forget. It lives somewhere in the middle, a permanent silhouette. Some loves arrive like questions with no answer they can keep. They change the way the heart moves, even in their brief. We were loved in passing, and that still counts somehow. Even now it finds me when I least expect it now. Not a wound, not a memory that time could rearrange. We were loved in passing, and nothing stayed the same. Some crossings are enough to last. So much passed without a mark, no sound to measure when it turned. We felt the pull, we felt the rise, but nothing burned. The days unfolded as they do, no promise left to break. Some feelings soften with the hours and gently change their shape. I watch the moment lose its edge, without a fall or a climb. And in the center of it all, something stayed kind. This is what stayed calm when the rest moved on. Not the thrill, not the doubt, just the steady dawn. We didn't rush or seal the air, or test how far we'd gone. I stayed with what remained unchanged. This is what stayed calm. I've known the weight of louder storms that has to be resolved. This never reached for any name or asked to be involved. We shared the space, we shared the time, without a shape to chase. Some closeness lives inside the pause and leaves a trace. No urgency to redefine or make it feel complete. We let the moment settle in at its own speed. This is what This is what stayed calm. Stability doesn't call itself or ask to be admired. It shows up quietly each day and never tires. It isn't built from perfect words or moments drawn just right. It's simply there when things grow still and hold the night. This is what stayed calm. Not frozen, not afraid, just balanced in the space between what came and what stayed. I don't preserve the passing spark or wish it lingered on. I live inside the steady ground. This is what stayed calm. The world can feel like sharpened glass if you're not careful where you stand. I felt the pressure close around like it was part of the plan. But every time I almost closed, something inside me stayed. A quieter voice beneath the noise that gently asked me not to change. I've seen how easy it becomes to armor every scar, but something stronger holds its shape when left the way you are. I'm staying soft even when the days feel hard. I'm staying open even when I'm on my guard. I don't confuse the ache with weakness or the calm with giving in. I walk through this world carefully, staying soft within. I've watched affection turn to stone from carrying too much weight. I've seen how hearts begin to fold when patience arrives too late. But I still choose the slower path where feeling isn't wrong, where kindness isn't something rare or fragile for too long. I don't protect myself with walls, I don't pretend I'm fine. I keep my hands where they can feel the passing time. I'm staying soft through the silence and the sound. I'm staying open when my feet still on the ground. I let emotions come and go without asking them to win. I hold my center carefully, staying soft within. Tender doesn't mean untrue or unaware of pain. It means I let the light come through after the rain. I don't harden just to last, I don't toughen just to stand. I trust the strength it takes to feel and understand. I'm staying soft, not because it's safe or kind, but because it keeps me close to what is mine. I move ahead with steady hands, no script, no discipline. I live this life with open eyes, staying soft within. You speak in careful tones, like you're afraid to bruise the air. Every word is smooth and rounded, like nothing sharp lies there. Your hands avoid the truth, they only reach for calm. You hold me like a habit, not like something. You choose kindness over clarity, silence dressed as grace, and I mistake your softness for a safer place. Soft places hurt too, when they hide what's real, when gentle words replace the things you never feel. You keep everything peaceful, so nothing ever breaks, but something in me bends. Every time you hesitate, you nod instead of answering, smile instead of speak. You say the things that sound right and leave the rest with me. Carry all the meaning you won't put into sound. Your kindness keeps us quiet, but it's wearing me down. Truth doesn't have to shout to still leave a mark, and avoiding every fracture still leaves scars. It's an act of care, but I feel more alone in how careful you voices heard too, when they won't let truth exist, when love stays kind but always shifts. I'm not asking for cruelty or words that leave a scar. I'm asking for something honest instead of who we are. If gentleness avoids the truth, it still leaves damage. Every step already known, your shoes by the doorway, my keys beside the phone. We ask the same questions, answer just enough. Nothing sharp between us, nothing close to love. We've memorized each other without listening anymore. Every day keeps passing like the one before. We're held together by habit, not by what we feel, by mornings that repeat themselves and nights that never heal. It's easier to stay in place than face what we've become. We're held together by when the feeling's gone. Your hand finds mine automatically, like muscle memory. It doesn't ask permission, it doesn't wait for me. We sit across the silence, call it being calm. Peace without a heartbeat feels quietly wrong. We don't argue, we don't break. There's nothing left to prove. We just keep choosing comfort over something true. We're held together by habit, by schedules and by time, by staying just familiar. Crossing every line, love used to move between they just stop being enough. Used to chase connection through the corners of the room, waited for an answer, for a voice to break the gloom. Built a map of questions out of stories left untold. Thought your silence held a verdict, thought your distance meant control. But stillness has a rhythm if you're patient with the space. Every absence carries music if you listen to its grace. So I left the answer chamber, took my thoughts out to the street, found a steady conversation in the wind and in the beat. Didn't need a confirmation, didn't wait for you to speak. Made a chorus out of quiet, found my strength without critique. Used to toss my questions like a thread across the night, hope they'd wrap around your conscience, make you tug and make it right. But the wall stayed unresponsive, no reflection in its core, and nothing came back shining till I stepped beyond the doors. Not a war, not a victory, not a loss that had to score, just a shift in where the dialogue found a home to live once more. So I left the answer chamber where responses used to sleep, took the quiet as direction, let the world come in with sweet. Heard my heartbeat set the cadence, let my insight take the lead. Made a chorus out of quiet, writing lines through simple need. Silence wasn't punishment, not a sentence, not a fight, just a language I deciphered in the absence of your light. Every question lost its hunger, every thought regained its shape, when the voice I gave importance finally drifted out of frame. Now I've left the answer chamber for a dialogue inside, where the truth is self-sufficient, where no pleading has to hide. Conversations turn to grounding in a speech The sun falls low along the line where day releases sky. I stand where colors slowly fade, let the moment pass me by. Your absence settles in my chest more than it did before. The quiet feels too wide tonight. I feel it at my core. I told myself I'd be composed, that I was standing strong. But even light must say goodbye before it's gone. I'm here at sunset, missing you, and every promise I outgrew. I held my breath all afternoon, but now the tears are coming through. No one sees, no one knows how heavy love can feel at sunset. Standing still. The air turns cool against my skin. The world begins to slow. Watch the last of daylight slip into a softer glow. I thought I'd carry this with grace and never let it show. But some emotions wait their turn, and then they overflow. I traced your name inside my mind and tried to let it go. But memories don't fade on cue, they move slow. I'm here at sunset, missing you, with nothing left to shield the truth. I tried to smile, I tried to stay, but tears don't listen when they fall this way. No sound breaks, no one moves, just me and fading light at sunset. Every night. until the grows dim, then opens wide. I'm here at sunset, missing you. No strength left to pretend it's through. I let it hurt, I let it stay. I let the tears fall where they may. The sky goes dark, the truth shows through. I loved you then, I love you still. At sunset, always will. The sky turns gray into a hue that almost feels like hope. The snow rests calm upon the ground, like it has learned to cope. The cabin breathes a softer sound. The night has stepped aside. I open up the window pane and let the morning inside. Nothing asks me who I was or what I lost before. The light just arrives quietly at the door. This is a morning snow note written without a pen, a moment left for me to read and breathe again. The world feels wide but not unkind. The silence doesn't flow, it settles gently where I stand. This morning snow note. The weight they held last night. Each branch accepts the colder truth and holds the light. My breath shows up in front of me, then fades into the air. I watch it go without a chase or care. I don't translate this quiet calm or ask what comes next. I let the stillness finish first and rest. This is a morning snow note, not closure, not a sign, just proof the day can start again in its own time. The ache remains but softer now, like words I never wrote. I carry on more gently here. This morning snow note. Dawn doesn't promise anything. It simply shows its face and gives the dark a resting place. Inside its grace, it lets me stand without a plan or strength to prove. It shows me how to take one breath and move. This is a morning snow note, left where sorrow stood, not bright, not gone, just lighter than it should. I take the day the way it comes, no script, no antidote. I step into the quiet hours. This morning snow note. Before you speak, like weighing what is true. There's history inside that pause I always knew. The lines you wear on asking why, they're settled, open, plain. They tell me where you've been before, without the strain. I don't search beyond what's here, or read it as a test. Some truths arrive without a word and rest. It's in that face, the calm you keep, the way your guard falls naturally around me. No mask, no role, no hidden place. I see the time, the care, the grace in that face. like something lived in and free. I don't explain what I can see or ask it to remain. I let the moment show itself again. It's in that face. How come arise, not asking me to rearrange my life? No need for proof or second place. I feel accepted as I am in that phase. Some knowing lives inside the eyes without a claim or sound. It doesn't rush to take its turn or pin things down. It's simply present, clear and kind, and lets the truth be traced by what is shown so honestly in that face. It's in that face, the way you stay without a reason to persuade or change. I don't imagine something else or look away. I stay with what is real and warm in that face. In that face. The road opens wider now, no signal pulling me back. I step into the morning air with nothing left to track. My name feels lighter on my chest, no shape it has to fit. The hours move without a frame and I move with it. I used to listen for a sound that never came. Now silence feels like space instead of weight. There's no one waiting at the end of the day. No eyes measuring what I choose or say. I walk this path unclaimed, unbound. The ground feels different with no one waiting now. I pause without apology. I turn when I decide. No thread tied to another step. No need to hide. The past doesn't call my name, and wind doesn't shout or rise or prove what it has won. It feels like standing still at last when no one comes. It feels like choosing every step without a sound, and knowing that the road is yours all around. There's no one waiting, and that feels kind. No fear of leaving something behind. I face the day without a vow. I walk ahead with open hands. No one waiting now. The room is quiet, but I'm not calm. Every thought keeps drifting back. I replay moments in my head like they might finally talk back. Your coat is still behind the door. Your silence sits beside my bed. I wonder what you carry now, and if my name lives in your head. I don't need you to call my phone or say the words out loud. I just need to know sometimes I cross your mind somehow. I'm hoping your name is thought of in silence when the world finally lets you breathe. In the spaces where no one's watching, do you remember me? I don't need promises or guidance, just a moment where it's true. I'm hoping your name is thought of in silence, the way I think of you. The night moves slow across the walls, like it's listening to my heart. I speak to you without a sound, afraid of where the answers start. Your laughter fades into a dream that I wake up holding still. If loving you is letting go, why does it feel unfinished still? If I disappear from your days, would you feel the quiet change? Or am I just a passing thought that time slowly rearrange? I'm hoping your name is thought of in silence when the lights are finally low, when you're alone with all your feelings and nowhere left to go. I don't need a sign or reason or a truth you can't explain. I'm hoping your name is thought of in silence, even just once again. If love could speak without a voice, it would sound like this. All the things we never said, still asking to exist. I don't need to be your answer, I don't need to be your home. Just don't erase me from the places where your thoughts go when you're alone. I'm hoping your name is thought know it's me. Path is white from edge to edge, no marks left to explain. The ground holds only quiet now. After the strain, I stop and look behind my steps. Nothing answers back. The snow has covered every sign of where I walked. I thought the silence might feel sharp or ask me where to go, but standing here it feels like rest. I didn't know the footprints are gone, and I am still here. No one behind me, no one near. The road is open, the past is calm. I don't feel taken when the footprints are gone. I used to measure every space by who might see. Now the world opens wide and slow just for me. The cold no longer presses close, it lets me breathe. I feel the ground beneath my feet and stay. I don't replace what isn't there, I wish it stayed along. Some things are meant to walk away and leave me strong. The footprints are gone, no trace, no sign, no weight pulling at this time. I walk alone, but not undone. I feel complete with the footprints gone. Solitude doesn't close its hand or turn the light away. It simply gives me back the space to stay. It shows me I was never lost or left behind. I was just learning how to stand inside my own time. The footprints are gone, is clear, no voice calling from anywhere. I face the sky, I face the dawn. I'm not afraid with the footprints gone. time I get closer, you soften your tone, turn weight into humor so it won't be known. You answer with kindness, but never with death. You smooth out the moment so nothing is left. You tilt every question until it feels like truth might be fragile if held too tight. It's gentle deflection disguised as care. You meet every feeling and slide it elsewhere. You keep things pleasant, you keep things safe. You change the direction before it takes shape. You say let's not rush it, like time isn't moving. You say it's just time, and like nothing is proven. You smile at the edges of what we could say, then guide the conversation politely away. You don't close the subject, you don't let it stay. You wrap it in softness and carry it away. It's gentle deflection, not wrong, not right. You turn every corner before it feels real. You let me feel seen, but never addressed. I stay in the kindness that avoids the rest. If avoidance was honest, it would feel cold, but you keep it tender so it can't be told. You protect every moment from breaking in two, but what you keep saving is never me and you. I reach for the truth, you reach for control, and soften the answer until it's not whole. It's gentle deflection, and I fall for the care. You redirect meaning like it wasn't there. You don't push me away, you just guide my steps, so I never arrive at what's left unsaid. We talk like nothing's broken, like words are doing their job. Your voice moves through the moment, mine just fills the gaps. You nod at all the right times, smile like you understand, but my meaning hits the surface and never makes it in. I watch your eyes stay busy, drifting past my face. I keep lowering my volume, still you hear the same. I'm talking but you're not hearing. I'm here but I'm unseen. Every sentence falls between us like it's lost midstream. I'm standing in the connection, still alone somehow. This is what it feels like to fade out loud. truth like mine never reached your ear. We sit inside the same reply, but never touch the same thought. I carry all the feeling, you carry what I'm not. I start editing my honesty before it leaves my chest. You hear the part that's easy and miss the rest. I'm talking but you're not hearing. I'm close but out of frame. I say the things that matter most, they all sound the same. I keep showing up completely, you keep passing through. This is what it feels like to speak and not break through. Something in me shifts quietly while I'm mid-explain. I hear myself from far away repeating all this pain. There's only so much disappearing a heart can justify before it stops asking questions and starts saying goodbye. When I left, shaded gold, curtains barely breathing in. The clock forgets its only job and lets the moment win. Your shadow moves across the wall like it already knows there's nowhere else we have to be. The night slows, no sentences are waiting here, no question left to ask. The quiet fits around our shape and lasts. This is the soft light hour when everything feels near. No past to pull, no future sound, just now, just here. We don't define what this becomes or can beside my own, unmeasured, calm and slow. The way you stay without a word says more than most. I've known affection dressed as speed that couldn't sit or stay. This feels like something meant to live this way. No hands explaining what they mean, no vows that crowd the air. We let the stillness speak for us right there. This is the soft light hour, no edges left to face the dark, just frames the way we fit into this place. We don't prepare for what comes next or borrow from another. We share the quiet honestly. This soft light out. Night doesn't ask us who we are or where the story goes. It gives us space to simply stay and know. Some closeness lies beyond the reach of language or control. It settles in when bodies rest and hold. This is the soft light hour, where nothing asks for more.